You know what David Jones is? A great sailor, a master of the sea, and a master of the sky. So let's go over my resume where I have my different experiences and qualifications and official licenses that I have acquired over the years. So the first license I acquired was my driver's license. This one was medium difficulty. You just gotta have the balls to drive. A lot of people don't get their driver's license just because they're afraid to drive. But if you actually do the exam, parking, staying in your lane, according speed zones, obeying traffic laws, and then just handling the car and looking out for pedestrians and other vehicles and sharing the road. Prep, driving technique and playing with the radio. It's a fun time. So that was my first certificate. But then after that, you don't learn to drive when you get your certificate. It takes decades to learn how to drive safely. So because when you get your driving certificate at 16 years old, like I did mine, or 18 years old, you were just speeding. It's a go-kart. It's a go-kart for you. So, but then as you age and get a couple of speeding tickets, parking tickets, you learn how to obey the laws and the rules of the road and why they matter and why they're safe. And you become a good driver. The next certificate I got was my machining certificate. So 1 day course at a college, turn a piece of metal into an engine piston with specifications down to the 0.000 millimeters. So they got machines, you type in a number and it'll cut it down. You screw it on, latch it on, and it'll cut it down to that specific 0.000 precision. And it tells you the rate of error. So error of 0.005 millimeters. That's how precise these machines that cut metal are. And then you have different types of machines. Drill holes, slice, pound and grind, and cut deep, thick, drill thin holes. And then after you do all that, you gotta sand it because it is sharp as hell. But you can cut yourself just holding a piece of cut metal in your hand. And then there was safety, like when the machine is, I kid you not, when the machine is slowing down, I tried this and they tell you not to do this. You wanna reach out and stop it from spinning and pull out the metal because when the drill goes, there'll be a lot of metal shavings that get stuck to the drill. And you wanna just reach out and grab those metal shavings off like it was some wood chiplets or something. But they're metal shavings, so if you reach out, you're going to get a bloody hand. And I tried to do that, and my partner stopped me. She was like, no, don't do that. And I was like, why not? So we machined a small engine piston. But they didn't give me my official certificate. I passed the course. Maybe they were personally pissed off at me that I was not paying the most attention. I just wanted the certificate. But I learned how to use the machines, how to be safe. You know, every time you take out the latch key to start a machine, make sure you put it back so the next person can use it. You don't got a crutch key, I forget what it's called, the key. So to start up the machine and to lock your tool in place, you got to always return it back to the machine where you found it so you could use it again. And then you got precision and safety, and I learned how to be a safe machinist. So I got my machining certificate. After that, I needed a part-time job, so I thought, let's get qualified for that as well. So I got my security guard license. In the security guard license, it's a 5-day course, 1 week, 6 hours a day. And you go 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. driving school was, I believe, 20 hours, and then 20 hours of on the road experience as well with an instructor. Security guard course, you got to take notes, you got to pass an exam. It's 4 days of the security training, which is by a former police officer or military person or someone like that. And he was strict as hell. He was like, you got to be back here the minute lunch ends. I was literally finishing my lunch and sitting outside the office. I was sitting outside the office, waiting for the time to go by, listening to my music. Time goes by, I get in. There's a big crowd of people. I'm like 30 seconds late. Guy kicks me out. I gotta come back. It was on a Friday as well, so I gotta come back next week, Monday, to finish my training. Course also cost like $400. It was $360. Now it's probably $400, $500 to do the training. But you get a little card that only lasts for 1 to 2 years. 1 year. It only lasts for 1 year. Then you got to keep replacing the card every year. What you learn is mainly just note taking, because if you take notes and have a record of what happened and what you patrolled and where. So 4:40 I went to the garage. 4:45 I went to the parking lot. 4:50 I went to this corridor and whatever, and you write down what you see, what incidents happened, who you talked to, shit like that. So you write all that down in the notebook so you have a record keeping as proof in future cases. Then dealing with situations, there's like laws, like who can be on the premises, who can carry weapons, dealing with police officers, escalating the situation. And then you could get your combat training and handcuff training. So you could handcuff someone, but you don't get to use weapons. At least that I know of. And mainly just note taking, being there. I was there to basically solve questions. So people ask me where the washroom is, where the fair is, where this road is, where when you're on site you learn a bunch of the surrounding environment, so you answer questions. And then when I was an event security guard, like concerts and stuff, just hold the people back, protect the performers, make sure there's no overcrowding, dangerous people standing up and jumping up and down. Just like when I was a skating guard, no backward skating, racing, speed skating, improper equipment, no walking on the ice with your shoes, no retarded helmets, must wear a helmet, shit like that, no carrying your kid. So shit like that you learn. Just like that as a security guard, the same thing, just on land instead of on ice. And the pay is similar too, at least when you're starting off. And but they told me the other security guards, like, they had to walk around and kick out drunk people, which I believe they do. You got bouncers, so people that kick people out and prevent people from re-entering. And they're like, you got to kick out, like, they kicked out like 40 drunk people at the concert. I'm like, I don't want to do that. And it was like, then when you're leaving, I just leave in my security uniform. I don't give a fuck. But they're like, don't do that, because all the people that you kicked out, they wait for you outside, and no matter who, if you didn't kick them out, they jump you and attack you. So you always got to change into your street clothes so they know you're not a security guard when the concert's over and you got to go home. But a big perk is you get to watch the concert for free and get paid to do it and get good seats. You can do crowd surfing, bro. Crowd surfing is where you just walk around the crowd and look for shit. You just walk around and fucking enjoy the music. You just walk around like a VIP at the concert and just watch the show. Then I was you can be the front line. I was also in the front line, which is right where the stage is, to prevent people from jumping on stage. So you get to see the Lady Gaga right up close and Taylor Swift right up close. Then for System of a Down, the metal band, I was in the handicap zone. Once again, great seats. You gotta go to the wheelchair zone, which is a dedicated spot where they could watch from and make sure nobody is going in there that's not in a wheelchair. People go there to take photos, so you let them take their photo and then pass by. But you get great seats, and then you go behind the building to eat your lunch, not in the arena where you see the tour buses there. You see where the actors are in their dressing rooms and changing rooms. You see all that shit backstage. So it's a fun time. But you got to stay up late at night, and you got to get transportation at night and shit like that. So and there's no note taking there. Just fucking being a rebel. Just being a rebel. And then what else happened when I did security? Oh, I saw one of my friends one time. But you get pressure on the job. You get pressure on the job from your bosses and shit like that. And just being around the environment. Like one of my friends came up from high school and he was like, "Yo, can I go to the VIP section?" I was like, "No." He wanted to go downstairs to where the premium seats are. He's like, I'll just tell them I ran by you. You don't got to say anything." And I was like, "No, you can't go there." And then another time, a guy bribed me $100 to get into the gate where he was not supposed to get into. They check your tickets, so you got to go to the correct seat. But there was a lineup, a 1.5 hour wait at the gate where he was supposed to go to, and my gate was 0 people. So he's like, "Give you $100 to enter in at this gate. It's for these ticket holders," but he had a different ticket, but they scan your ticket anyway. So I was like, "Give me $100. I was like, "Whatever, go inside." So sometimes, depending on the environment, you gotta use your street sense. Use your street sense. Yeah. Security guard. And pay is not very well, man. It doesn't pay very well. For the amount of shit you gotta go through, doesn't pay too well. I mean, getting a job is guaranteed. They hire like thousands of people, hundreds of people for event security. It's a big ass concerts, the biggest concerts. That's where there's hundreds of us. We're just flocking and flocking and flocking. We have a team meeting at the end of the concert. We literally fill out the entire concert row of seats and listen to the boss speak what happened during the night, what went well, what went wrong. So we get the company recap. And we're sitting in the concert seats like a big concert group. There's so many of us. And they're always pissed off. Like some of y'all catching numbers, catching names. If someone asks you for your security badge number, you have to give it to them. Some of y'all trading numbers and texts. So I don't know what the hell these other security guards are doing, but I was on the job. And then after that, I finished my electrical engineering degree, major in electrical engineering, radio frequency engineering. You can go computer or electrical engineering. After 2 years, you decide which one you want. I did strictly electrical, power generators, chips, radar, radio, circuits, shit like that. And then I had a minor in sustainable energy. That was a 6-course minor. You can do business minor. You can do what other minors are there? I don't know what other kind of minors are there. Finance minor. I don't know. So I did a sustainable energy minor, electrical engineering degree. And now I am working on my boating license, my pleasure craft license. I'm done 33% of the modules. I just started it today. I've been studying for an hour and a half. Gonna do the 75-minute exam at the end. It's an easy exam. It's open book or use the internet. But it doesn't matter if you use the internet or open book because the questions don't fucking matter. The questions are like, which regulation under which code is enforced, under which charter of rights is this and this, and it's bullshit. But you learn from the modules, from the studying. You learn the safety, because like each module, you go through it. There's pictures, there's text, there's graphs, and you got the book as well. And you got to do a quiz at the end of each module, which is good. You can do that open book too, but it's helpful. And there's a time limit, so you can't skip too quickly. You can't just skip through the modules. You got to stay on each page for like 2 minutes, and there's like hundreds of them. And you, as you're reading it, you're like, you just might as well fucking read it. You got to stay there for 2 minutes, and you actually soak it in. And they go through hundreds of it, so you do repetition, and you actually learn the stuff. It's like, first you got the law. You got to have your license. You got to have how many people can fit on the boat. What type of boat is it? How much horsepower it has. Then you got the safety stuff, like what type of life jackets there are, how many flares there are, repair kit, fire extinguisher, and axe, the anchor, what type of anchor it is, flotation devices, radars, where the port, starboard, bow, stern are. That's what I got to so far. And then after that, like, is it a big boat? Is it a small boat? Small vessel regulations is what I'll be working with. And then after that, I looked ahead, and you get into like how to operate the boat. Big waves, small waves, visible conditions, other passengers, other boats, shorelines, speeds, towing and untowing, loading and leaving the water, signals, shipping containers, shipping lines, other big boats, buoys and traffic markers, and dealing with, and then there was like daytime conditions, nighttime conditions. You can't have people riding their jet skis after sunset, but you can still drive the boat at nighttime. You just got to have a flashlight or reflectors or navigation signals. Most people, when they fall overboard or the boat crashes or something, they were in a vicinity. They would have been saved if they could just survive a little bit longer. So if you wear a life jacket and it keeps you afloat, and a life jacket will flip you over onto your stomach, so if you're unconscious, you can breathe. But a regular flotation device won't flip you over, but it's more comfortable. And if you have a life jacket and you survive for a little bit longer, chances are you will be rescued. And you have the identification number on the boat and shit like that. And then alcohol is a big problem. Like 40% of all deaths are alcohol related, because when you're drinking in the heat, you lose balance, you get dehydrated. The alcohol affects you more. The noise affects you from the engine and the water. And you lose your balance, and you can fall overboard. You can not coordinate the waves and shit like that better. So alcohol causes the most deaths in boating accidents. And then if you lend your boat to someone, or if you have passengers, or if you want to teach someone how to drive the boat, they need supervision. Or if you're lending the boat, they need their license and to know where all the emergency kits and stuff on the boat are. So that's what I'm working with today, getting my boating license. I'm going to see if in the next couple of days I can pass the exam and get the card. Card never expires, so that's cool. And those are my licenses so far. I don't got a pilot license. I don't got a... Oh, I also got, with my security guard license, I got Smart Serve. So, serving alcohol license. That was like a 1-hour course. And it was mainly like, basically, if you want to be a bartender or something, it's the law to refuse to get someone super drunk. So if someone's super drunk and intoxicated, you can't overserve them. And in fact, I believe it said you can't even let them leave. So if someone's super drunk, they got to stay on the property until they sober up a bit. Otherwise, they'll go on the street. If they go on the street fall down on the sidewalk, get hit by a bike or something, then you're legally responsible because you served them that alcohol. So they gotta stay in the premises until they sober up a bit, or something like that. And then I did CPR in high school. If you're a swimming guard, you'll do CPR. But as a security guard, we did a full course. I did a CPR course twice. Once for, I forget, for something else. And then, I did it once by itself. And I did it once through the security guard training. We did everything, like, where there's glass, wire, gas, fire, and then how many pumps to give the person, what if they need a defibrillator, and defibrillator, you got to shave their hair, put the pads on, do the electrical signals, call 911 before you start the CPR, and then how long to do the CPR until the emergency people arrive, and then they can do a defibrillator, which shocks the heart and brings it back to life. Otherwise, you're just breathing for them and pumping their heart blood for them. And the most likely person you're going to give CPR to is a family member, so it's a useful skill to have. And you don't need the full 8-hour course. You just need like a 45-minute course on how many pumps to do, where to locate the heart. It's basically like you have your chest, and then you go 1, 2, and then here, and then you pump to the song "Staying Alive." Staying alive, staying alive. That was the last regulation they had. They've since changed it to do 90 pumps per minute. So it's like do. So it's a lot faster to keep pumping. They changed that. And then you do pump, like, it used to be, you do 15. So when you're doing it slower, you used to do 15 pumps and then 2 breaths. Tilt the head back, open the mouth, 2 deep breaths. Then they changed it to 30 pumps. Tilt the head back, close the nose, open the mouth, 2 deep breaths. And then when you do the super quick pumps, they changed it, I believe, to no breaths. So no breaths, just keep pumping, I believe. And that'll save a person's life but you gotta call 911 first. Make sure there's no gas, fire around, and that it's safe for you to perform. And then you call 911 and give them the location, the address. If you have another person that can stay on the phone with the ambulance, that's better. So you can focus on the life-saving procedure and they can stay on the phone. And that was all my experiences. One thing about the security course is I got banned from the office because when I graduated, I couldn't find a fucking good job. It was like you got to go to a music festival and you got to sleep in a tent, and the overnight is not paid. When you're sleeping in the tent, you're not paid for that. You're only paid for the 8 hours on the job. So you got to go in the car, bring a tent, sleep in the fucking tent, then do the job, and you're getting paid like minimum wage for the job. So I got pissed off. I wrote an angry email that I couldn't find a decent job. They were like, "What the fuck you talking about?" And then I was like, replied, and they were like, "Okay, now you are banned from every security training office. If you show up, the authorities will be called." So, but I got the card, I got the license, and I'm a registered guard. So even though that was a bad time at the office, first they fucking penalized me for showing up 30 seconds late, and then they blackmail me for I don't know what, some emails. I mean, what could I have possibly said in those emails? Just like, I don't know. So that was all my licenses. My previous employment experience, I was a security guard. I was a private tutor. You get good students, you get bad students. You just fucking dick around. I was a software tester at my mom's software company for my professional engineering experience requirement. I was a rink marshal, skating guard. I was a hockey instructor at a respectable hockey school, but they were just fucking paying me minimum wage, 2 hour shifts, driving 1 hour, and yelling at me to do some grunt work, pick up the pucks around the arena, run around, clean up the shit, lend my skates to the students who forgot their skates. Like just a bad time. So I quit that. Other jobs I had was I was a baker in a bakery store, but I didn't do any baking. I just did the cashier, which I just calculated the change in my head, and they were like, "You can't fucking do that," but I kept doing that, so they fired me. And then I did dishes. I didn't like doing that, but I got free cake and free goods. They had a big closet full of leftover cakes and shit like that. So you just go in for lunch and just stuff your face with cakes and shit. But that didn't work out because I was not a good cashier. Then I was also a pizza maker. I had a job at Pizza Hut. But I did the training. So you do 1 week of training. You don't get paid for it, but you get to keep the pizzas that you make. So I learned how to make pizza. But then when I was supposed to start the next week, I got sick. So I said I was sick. And after 3 or 4 days, I called in and said, "Okay, I'm not sick anymore. Can I start work?" And they were like, "Oh, sorry, we found someone else. And the way I got that job was you just hand in your resume. And as their employees keep fucking leaving, they just call the next person in line who handed in their application first. And everyone gets hired and you just fucking make pizzas. So I was sick. I didn't get $1 from it, but I learned how to make pizza because they found someone else to replace me. Other than the pizza job, the skating job, I was a security guard, software tester, tutor, hockey instructor. I was also a factory worker. That was a $24 an hour job, which was good money, but I had to sweep an entire factory floor. I had to fucking inhale particles of chemicals and shit like that. I had to scrape paint off handles and railings and doors. Just a boring ass time. Drive there for an hour. It was the farthest away from my house, a different city. Drive there in a van that had no air conditioning in the 40-degree summer heat, and bring my fucking lunch. You just work at the factory, and then the big siren goes off. Bam, bam, bam. Time for lunch. You get a 15-minute break. Bam, bam, bam. Back to work. Back to labor. Manual ass labor. Bam, bam, bam. 15-minute break. And you gotta walk all the way to the end of the factory to the break room where the fridge is to get your food. And the microwave. Bam, bam, bam. Back to work. And then I was also where my dad works. So I worked with my mom, and then I worked with my dad as well. He did government testing for the kids in schools. 3, 6, 9 years. Every 3 years they do government standardized tests. And I got to see how they make the questions and shit. And we got to write our own question, create a question for the students in grade 3, 6, 9. But I didn't work in the office. I worked in the factory once again, because the tests from the entire country come in. You got to sort them. You got to scan them. You got to carry boxes, and then you can't have one teacher marking an entire box from one school. So what you do is you get a box from this school, a box from this school, a box from this school, and you go throw one test in here, one test in here, one test in here. So you mix them all up, and you just walk down a table and just mix up the fucking booklets for hours and hours on end. It's called scrambling. You're just mixing shit up, and you want to blow your brains out doing that shit. You're just mixing up booklets so they can mark fairly across different schools. Whoever's marked, because it's like there's language grades and there's mathematics grades. So you got to get a human, and then you carry the boxes at the airport, and all the teachers come in. They come in with their desks, and the teachers ready to mark, and they hate coming in and marking because they're just fucking marking their all day kids' papers, and then you give them, they carry the boxes. Bad time for me. I got fired. Why did I get fired? Because first, I went out when we were at the airport and the teachers were coming in. You don't get to see the teachers. It's literally a factory, and they got black curtains in every cubicle, and it's a warehouse. So you are in the cubicle, you are walking, we're just carrying boxes. You don't get to meet teachers or anything like that. You're just carrying fucking boxes and delivering shit. So I got so tired and so fucking bored of it. And then I had to make name cards. So they were like, go over here, sit at a table, open the little plastic, put somebody's name card in it. Next one, open the little plastic, put somebody's name card in it. And one of the managers was sitting there. I didn't know he was a manager. It was just mostly us grunt workers. And I was like, man, can you believe we're fucking doing this shit? Open, put in. And he gave me a dirty look. And then they called me on the phone the next day, and they were like, yeah, you're fired. And I learned it was from that guy, because I made that comment saying, can you believe we're doing this boring shit? Opening a nameplate, putting... And, you know, it's understandable for me. I'm an engineer. I'm an athlete. I'm a musician. I am meant for greater purpose, for a greater purpose. I got all these licenses. I'm highly educated, highly capable, highly motivated. I'm intelligent. I'm skilled. I'm quick. I'm knowledgeable. I'm smart. I'm highly successful. So I cannot be wiping factory floors, doing security guards in dog shit and cow shit. Picking up pucks around an arena, tutoring students, dumb students, for $20 an hour. Not $20 half an hour, $20 an hour. Hour of just fucking teaching them stuff they don't fucking know. And working on a factory floor. Working as a rink guard for $8 an hour, $11 an hour. Getting yelled at by the bosses. Where's your helmet? Stop skating backwards. Stop racing. You don't get to talk to no one. You don't have any friends there. You're just fucking on the clock. And damn, I hated every single job I had. It was a bad time. Bad time. Never want the engineering job was the fact. It was the office job, but the office job was the boring as well. Fucking looking at a spreadsheet and doing a test case. Pass, fail, pass, fail, pass, fail. Click a button. Does the button work? Pass. Scroll down. Click next page. Does next page work? Fail. Button, pass. Button, fail. Button, pass. Button, fail. And that's all you're doing all day. And they separate us interns so we can't talk to each other. So we created a messaging group and we just talk to each other. For lunch times, that took us on adventure walks around the community and shit like that. And the main culprit contributing to this bad time was the pay. All the pays were minimum wage, which started at, when I was doing my skating job, $8 an hour. And then it went up to 9, 10, 11. And I never got more than 11. Because if you get 12, then they tax it. And you go down to 10 or 11. So $10 an hour. You go to a security job. It's fun. You get to see the concert. But what else? Because you go on the transportation, 1.5 hour drive to the heart of downtown where it's overcrowded, concert time, sport time. You do your job, blah, 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 6 hours. You got to buy the food. What else are you going to fucking eat there? You buy, if you don't forget to bring a lunch, you got to buy the food there. And the food there is expensive as fuck. You don't get a security guard discount. They don't. Everywhere you go, you try and sneak it. You go, can I get my security? I'm a security guard. Do I get a discount? And they're like, no, fuck you. We're not part of the venue. We're independent. We're independent. We're independent. We're independent. We don't operate with the venue. We don't operate with the venue. So fuck you. Pay $9 for a pizza slice. Pay $12 for a hot dog. Pay $5 for a bottle of water. You pay $15 for a hot dog and water, and one hour of work is $8. So 2 hours of work for a hot dog and water. You buy the bus pass to get there, the bus pass to get back. You make $60 working 6 hours. You spend $30 to $40 on food and transportation. End of the day, you bring home $25. $25 you bring home after a night out. You come home with $25. And you don't get paid until you go to the office. And I remember working for a month and going to school. Going to the office, it's at the top of a grocery store. The office, you go up behind the grocery store in the ghetto. You get a check. Don't want to open the check. Wait till I get to the car. Get to the car. Sit in the car. Turn on the radio. A month of work. Open up the check. $87. Open up the check. $113. And you are just like, what the fuck, man? I'm dead. I got the uniform. I got the badge number. I got the black shoes. All the requirements. I'm putting my life on the line. I could get stabbed. I could get shot. I could get beat up. Doing all this shit. Got a walkie-talkie. Got a radio. I got no paper. Got everything. Got the policemen behind me. Everything there. Got the boss. Got the instructions. Got the routes and the escape routes and all of that shit. And you get in the car and it's like $113. And you're just like, you just look up through the windshield and you see these fucking cars driving on the road, and you see a BMW, you see a Porsche, you see these guys walking on the street, you see this girl with a full cart of groceries, you see people walking their dogs, you see people in suits, and you're just sitting there with $113 on the fucking check. That's why I stopped working and focus on my skills. If I could live at home, get my food paid for, it's much better to learn playing poker, doing stocks, playing music, making a YouTube career, getting my degree. Much more better to develop some skills, some real fucking skills, than to spend 8 hours every single day, all my daytime, working a dead-end job for minimum wage. It's a better investment for me. Where will I be in 5 years from now if I spend my entire life as a fucking security guard rather than playing music for 2 hours a day, doing stocks for 1 hour a day, reading for 1 hour a day, playing poker for half an hour a day, working out for 1 hour a day, doing my engineering degree, playing music for 1 hour a day, making YouTube content for 45 minutes a day. Imagine I did that for 5 years. How much money would I make? Doing social media branding for, half an hour a day. Where would I be compared to fucking working for $12 an hour for 5 years? It's the dumbest shit ever. It's the dumbest fucking shit ever. So, those are my qualifications, my jobs. I was just reading off my resume. Reading off my one-page resume. 1 page. In high school, I was straight A student. All the sports, all the music, programming, playing guitar at restaurants, level 8 of piano school, hockey captain, soccer championships, advanced placement algebra and calculus, chemistry, biology, physics, even non-essential, English, drama, French, and then my university essay application. My voice is tired. That was it. All my qualifications. I'm 34 years old. Maybe I send this out to a company and they hire me. And I dick around and do shit. So stay classy and be productive.